Hey, what's up, y'all? It's our first episode of the Pantheon for season 4. Everyone loves season 4. Everyone on the streets is saying season 4 is gonna be crazy. So today, we're gonna induct a in-person tournament experience into the Pantheon, because what I think is great about being a Melee player is I get to go to all these different tournaments, and they're always a lot of fun, but every tournament has their own little flavor, area that it's in, how many friendly setups they have, things of that nature, the people that tend to go or what have you. And who better to bring on for this episode, who's been to a lot of these tournaments with me, but my good friend, Vish. What's up, Vish?
Yo,
how you
what's
doing?
up? I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me, you guys.
Excited to have you.
That was the least excited of excited to have you.
I just it comes from deep within, you know.
Yeah, I see.
Deep
You know
within.
how I am.
Our first tournament to discuss is Pound.
This one, the one that just passed.
Just Pound in general.
Oh, in
As a
general.
series.
Pound as a tournament.
So I remember, I didn't go to the first 3 pounds because they were pretty old school. They were kind of before my time. The pound series, I don't know about the later ones, but back then they were really kind of sort of in the middle of nowhere. I felt like there wasn't much around.
Yeah.
You know? And then I think the most recent ones, I think they've been holding them out of
Like the Xanadu
Xanadu,
venue?
right? Is
Yeah,
that true?
They always talk about the racetrack or the horse racing track.
Yeah. I don't know how many Smashers do this. I actually went and I figured it wasn't complete. Like my trip there wasn't complete if I didn't actually bet on a horse race. So I actually went up and I actually got the little info pamphlet and I studied up on the horses to find out what their strengths and weaknesses were, and I actually made a little bit of money doing horse race. So I don't know how many people who actually go to Xanadu, but it's kind of fascinating. Because it's like this little PC cafe kind of place, which is Xanadu itself, but it's in this like big horse race track, which is just not the sort of venue that you go to very often. So I thought that was unique, at least. So I haven't been to too many pounds, but I'm gonna say from what I've experienced in pound, I'm thinking pound's like a B. It's not in the middle of some like pretty happening city or whatever, but it's kind of unique, and there were some kind of funny stories that we've had from pound. I think what takes away from pound for me is that I've been to a couple pound tournaments where the hotel was pretty far from the actual venue, and at those pound tournaments I remember having to walk through very cold outside. I had to like walk through the cold to get to the venue. That was kind of rough.
I think, I would give it around that kind of letter as well. Like the actual tournament is pretty solid. You always get like a lot of top level players coming to Pound, which I think adds a lot to my tournament experience, where I get to watch like high level Melee, just like the best of the best will usually come to Pound. The actual inside the venue tournament is good, but yeah, outside of it, it's not really much else to do.
Yeah, it's
you
Laurel
just
Park, Maryland.
Yeah, and
not
I
like
didn't even get to bet on horses either, because I think it was
Nah.
closed when I went there. I tried to go upstairs and
No.
do the thing you did, and then it was just like, oh, it's just not
Yeah,
happening.
it depends what day of the week it is and all this stuff. So
Yeah. B sounds solid. B sounds solid.
yeah, definitely.
Next tournament is Shine.
Oh, dude, I've never been to a Shine. I'm going to Shine for the first time this year, but I keep hearing good things about the lobster roll.
Ooh, dude, Shine is great. I mean, Shine is just talking about like the city.
Boston.
Super pretty. Super
Boston. I'm from Boston.
There's lobster roll for one. You can get one lobster roll for the price of whatever it costs, and then you can get 3 lobster rolls at McDonald's for the price of that one.
Pretty. I never had them. Is the
I'm just
McDonald's
gonna-
lobster roll good?
Hold on, let me finish. Hold on, let me get there.
You could get a lobster roll at McDonald's.
3
in
or something
Boston.
like that. This
3
Smash
of
Your
them.
Life, it was a rough time for me, I remember, and I had to do that strat. I survived. I'm here, and I survived to tell the tale, so I think that was a W.
That's a W.
Yeah.
3 of them.
Was
I
it
think
good?
so 3 or 2. Sorry?
Was it good?
Can I refrain on answering that one?
Why is McDonald's a sponsor?
I think it's a question of quantity versus quality. I think you're getting the 3 from McDonald's if you're looking for that quantity, and you're getting the 1 from the more established places if you're looking for the quality. I think that's what we're going with here.
I'll just say that I closed my eyes and it tasted better.
You guys have both been to Shine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We went when it was super sunny out, and usually the convention center is by the water, or the venue is by the water, and the last time I think it was at the convention center. So you just get to walk around in like beautiful waterfront type areas.
Yeah.
Oh.
A
In
lot
downtown,
of good, like,
right?
food.
Yeah.
A lot of good food and like bars around that kind of waterfront areas always are kind of popping. So I have a lot of fond memories of Shine.
Fought enough to put it in what letter?
Ooh, I would put it A. Also, Shine, they have like really funny, interesting top 8 experiences. That's the one that Zayn like won his first kind of major. So there's that. And then there's also the one where Johnny lifts his chair.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And then the whole crowd lifts their chair when he
Yep.
beats Mewtwo King, I think, is when that happened.
Yeah.
And then, so you have like a lot of kind of historic moments.
Ed, what do you think? We're gonna give it an A.
I want to say something, but can we cut this out? I really want to say it.
Yeah, just say it. Yeah,
We're really different people, Vish, because for me that shit was an F.
The Shine?
Yeah, I love the people that run it, but the Arduinos were at that event. I hated the Arduinos with a passion to get angry. Those Arduinos put me in a bad mood for like 6 months of my life. Everyone was like not enjoying it. No, they used it for like 2 events more or something. I don't remember, to be honest, but
That's fair.
yeah, don't put that in, Luke, please. Or maybe, I don't know if it's funny. Let us know in the comments if you think he should have left it out. No, I'm just.
That's such a double mind game. Yeah.
No, I love the people that run it though. I had a good time. It's just that one thing is what held it back from me.
I mean, that's
It's just that
fair.
one
I mean,
thing.
the player perspective from your end is really important for your experience.
The
Right?
competition, but like the city and everything, the tournament, everything was went well ran. I liked everything. Just that small little thing.
I would say A for me, but apparently for Ed, it's
These Arduinos.
I was just I was in a rough patch at the time too. I mean, like everyone was out getting their lobster rolls, and I was at McDonald's getting 3. It was just a very dark time for me.
Yeah,
That
it
was
sounds
your
like a
choice,
dark
Ed.
time.
That
Sounds
was
like a
your
dark
choice,
time.
Ed. I would say A.
Let's
for
go
me,
A.
personally.
Yeah.
Next tournament is Gomel.
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 Gomel's pretty up there for me. What I like about Gomel is so I've actually, I used to go to Gomel actually before it was like a major, and they would run it out of that university. It was like York, and those were fun because they were more grassroots, and even back then I think Tio Joe and the team, they tried to make it a little bit more of a like special in-person experience. Lately what they've been doing is they always have this after party on a boat, and I think they're doing it this year too, and they're actually calling it Get on My Boat. And it was great because last time it was like, it was like Sunday evening or whatever, and it was on this boat, but also, so there's like a bar on the boat, so there's like drinks and stuff, but also they just have like a area on the boat where you can just get spaghetti for no reason. It's
I
like
heard
past
about this
midnight.
spaghetti thing. Yeah.
I don't know if you had any of the spaghetti fish. I mean, it definitely wasn't that good or that bad. It was just spaghetti. It was like really random. I was like, why do they have spaghetti on the boat? But I was like, all right, I'm just not going to question it. I'm just going to get some spaghetti. So I was eating the spaghetti on this boat. And there's not that many tournaments where you can go on a boat and eat spaghetti. So for that alone, I think I got to put this one pretty high.
For the boat spaghetti.
Yeah, I mean, name another tournament you can go on a boat and then eat spaghetti.
You got me there.
Yeah,
So-
there's no competition, no contest. For me, it's hard to talk about this tournament because it's hard to be biased, right? But they always kept getting better and better. So many people from all over Canada, so people you don't really see in the U.S. Gomel is just overall every year like a top 3 tournament. Gomel for me is like A or S. It's up there.
Yeah, I'm down for A or S.
Because Gomel is pretty close to S, depending on what are the other ones we're.
Yeah, what are the
we're seeing.
S's is the question.
Because it's a cool city. The tournament runs really well. Tiojo does a really good job. It's like pretty spacious as a venue.
Vish, name one thing bad about Gomel. They'll garble it out. Don't worry.
I honestly can't. It's actually really, really
There you
solid.
go.
Like, he's really nice to like the commentators, in terms of like, I don't know, just like
Yeah.
he's nice to the staff.
All right, fine. Let's put it in S. Why
Yeah.
not? We can always drop it down later if we don't.
Yeah, we'll
feel
review.
like,
We'll review.
Next tournament is Smash and Splash.
Oh, I never actually technically went to a Smash and Splash, but I went to Riptide, which is kind of its spiritual successor. So one thing I will say is that area has nothing, but it does have the water park.
Yeah.
So if you like the fact that it's in a water park, it's amazing. But if you want to do anything else, you are in the middle of nowhere. In fact, and this is something I ding it, I take some points off. It's pretty hard to get to that hotel and that venue. Most tournaments I go to these days, usually you land at the airport or whatever, and it's like usually you can get to the tournament venue itself reasonably quickly, like 15 to 30 minutes. But like there's like a shuttle system to get to the Kalahari, and it takes kind of a while. So I will say it's a little bit further out from the airport than I am used to.
I think from O'Hare to there, it's a 3-hour drive, I think.
No, it's not.
No?
Is it? Damn.
I'm pretty sure we drove 3 hours. It might have been another airport, though.
I've been to one Smash and Splash a long time ago, and yeah, like the getting to the venue was easily the worst part of it, because you couldn't even get Ubers. Like it was not enough Ubers to go from wherever the Kalahari was to the airport. So that was definitely the tough part. And I didn't even go into the water park. So
dude, that was my thing too. I was so busy at this event. I really wanted, and I believe that the water park was cool, but I didn't get to go in it because I was so busy doing Smash stuff. Can I even really give it points for the water park if I didn't even get to go in the water park?
Can you even call it Smash and Splash? It's just Smash and Smash.
You don't splash. Did you go in the water park, N0ne?
No, but I would look at it.
We're all in the same place here.
I definitely never went into the water park, but I always remember having a good time at those. It might be because I'm like a country guy, you know? I like things outside of the city. So I enjoy all of that kind of stuff.
Okay.
All right. I'm happy to give it either a B or a C. Basically, like, for me, the thing I would be thinking would be, like, do I care that it's in a water park, even though none of us ever actually went to the water park?
I think for me, I would give it a C+. I don't know if that's not a rating, but I'd say C or B-.
Yeah, we can just put in C for now and go from there.
Next tournament, the Big House.
The Big House is, for me, a very special tournament, obviously. I mean, okay, so the thing about the Big House, too, is Big House, it's been such a long-running series that it's been at a lot of different venues. I always have a really good time at these. That being said, I will say that they're not necessarily... They're like a very standard Super Major, in the sense that, like, when I'm at Big House, I'm mostly just in the venue, and I'm there for Smash. Like, I'm not really going around, you know, like, exploring things outside of the venue. Like, Big House, to me, is just a great Super Major. I don't have that many memories from like the area around it. I guess there's this burger place. I will say there's this burger place that they out near the convention center that they run the newer ones at. It's like really good. I've been going there for the past 2. Besides that, I feel like it's mostly, I just feel like it's a really good Super Major that's run really well.
It's just like straight business, but
straight
everything's
business
happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's good business.
It's straight business, but
it's
business is booming.
Yeah.
I agree. There is,
You know what I'm
people do end up, like, going to the casino a lot at the Big House. Because,
that's true.
A few of the people from that area are a little bit of gambling fiends. So there are some casino trips that happen, but I completely agree with you guys. It's just, like, a really solid Super Major. And I guess that's what you would want probably the most out of a tournament experience, is just good, clean, fun Melee, right? And you'll definitely get that at the Big House. You'll definitely get that.
For me, Big House is kind of special. 4 was my first U.S. tournament.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's where I showed up the first time. Got to meet a lot of people. That's the very first time I met. We played in a money match, me and Hugo.
Aww.
And we traded. Well, I beat him first, and then we traded. And that's where he hit me with the famous, "Oh my God, do people know who you are?" He literally told me that. It's one of those like stepping stones. It's just one of those points of your past that you just gives you a lot of memories. You know, you remember a lot, and I don't know. It's touching for me when I remember the Big House series. So it has to be like A+. It has to be like up there.
Yeah, I'm fine putting it at A. A is very solid. I mean, again, memorable top 8s. Memorable top 8s go a long way for me in terms of how much I enjoy it, and it's just such a historic series too. Yeah, A for Big Houses.
The next one is Evo.
Oh man, Evo is gonna be contentious. I think people have a lot of different takes on Evo. For me, it's always been very high. I used to go to Evo even before Melee was at Evo. I went in 2011, 2012 because of FGC. I like going, and I used to like watching Marvel and Street Fighter 4. So I actually used to go just purely as a spectator. And it's in Vegas, so it's on the strip, so you can walk around, and there's always a lot of fun things to do in Vegas. You can go see a show, you can gamble, you know, whatever. So I obviously have a lot of fond memories from Evo. That being said, there's also people who say things like, well, it's very cramped because there's so many games there, you know, and in terms of like friendly setups, it's pretty hard to find a friendly setup for Melee. So it really did kind of depend what you were there for. So for me, it's very high. For me, I always felt like Evo was like an S tier experience.
Yeah, I think if you're into even a few other fighting games, it becomes really, really fun to go to.
Yeah.
Because I think watching Marvel at some of the earlier ones were super hype. Yeah, have you down for S or A? I mean, the only downside is people might talk about, like you said, if you're going there strictly for
bracket,
like I'm Melee, I'm trying to play this Melee tournament.
Oh, the seating is always trash. Don't get me wrong.
Not that great.
The seating is not that great, but
it's like it's like 2 out of 3 even in
best
top
of
8,
threes.
right? It's like 2 out of 3 in top 8.
Best of 3s. And
Best of 3 to like winner semis or something like that. So it's like, as a tournament for just Melee, that's its downside.
The matches are demos. But yeah, for me, Evo was always just an excuse to go to Vegas. You know what I mean? I should have done what you did, Toph, where you just don't have any responsibility. I think I should have done that and not stress about events and just enjoy the other games as well. Because I like Street Fighter too. I like to watch that. Yeah, it's just a great time. Evo is like S, right? It has to be. How can it not be?
All right, next tournament is Revival of Melee.
When was this? Let me look this up. Let me look this
guys.
up. I want to see where I was
been to
at this
ROM.
point in time. This is very old school, yeah? This is Cali.
This was the one where Kage beat Mango.
Oh, K-word.
I think ROM 2 is Mango Kage wins.
Yeah.
And then ROM 3 is when Mango beats him with Link and Marth. So both of them happen at ROM.
I've only been to 2 ROMs, and I went to the last 2. I went to ROM 6 and ROM 7. I will say, even for ROM 6 and ROM 7, these are definitely smaller scale, right? Like, they're definitely regionals, right? Like, they were at a card shop. I think it was a card shop. It was some sort of gaming shop, right? And like, so they definitely felt like, compared to all these other tournaments we're talking about, they definitely felt like more like community experiences. You know what I mean?
I'm seeing here the counterpicks: Corneria, Rainbow Cruise, Jungle Japes.
Oh, man, yeah.
Greens, Bridgestar.
This is an old school tournament.
Mute City, Bogan Floats.
This is an old school tournament.
This is April Fool's Slippy. This is literally April Fool's Slippy.
I love April Fool's Slippy.
Yeah.
By the way.
But no, yeah, it's just fun because I don't know. We're going through debates on stages right now. It's a headache, but these stages are fun, you know.
From a viewership standpoint, for not going, it was one of the sickest tournaments of all time, right? Because it actually helped revive Melee to a certain degree and had some really iconic sets. So what would you rate it, Toph? This is all you.
If it's an in-person experience, I'm gonna say at the end of the day, because here's the thing, I didn't go to the early ones, so I'm not like the most qualified, and I'm sure the people who went to the earlier ones, they could like kind of correct me on this. For me, it's gonna be like a solid B. I had a lot of fond memories, but like if I'm thinking objectively for the average person to go to one of these, like, you know, they were very grassroots. I don't know if that's what everyone would be about these days, per se. And I definitely think that when you think of Revival Melee, for me, it's more about the Melee itself. It's not really about the in-person experience necessarily. They're not even really in the middle of the city or anything like that. They're kind of out. Like, you have to, like, travel for quite a distance to get there. So I'll say B. I'll say B. I think B is pretty reasonable.
Summit.
Oh, Summit's got to be an S, huh?
Summit's an S, dude. Summit's an easy S.
Summit is it's like explicitly that's what they aim for. They try to make it the perfect. You know, they take care of everything for you. They give you food, you know, they give you lodgings, and they give you the shuttle to and from, and then they like always like have some cool little set design to make the venue itself really like nifty, and they provide way too many friendly setups and
so many friendly setups, and also like the
streaming setups if you want to stream. Right?
The VIP experience is also pretty good. I went to VIP as one time, and like they cater to the VIPs really well. So even if you're not invited as a player or commentator, the VIP experience is really solid. Like you have the VIP tournament, you still get all the food and whatnot, like you're talking about. You have a lot of friendly setups. And I think the one thing that the bigger since you brought up ROM, how you feel like that sense of community, I feel like one of the few tournaments where I feel that a lot more nowadays is Summit, because it's fairly tight knit, right? Like there's not more than like 40, 50 people in the venue for the simple reason that, you know, only a certain amount of people could be allowed there. So it feels like I get that kind of homey vibe a lot at Summit. And, you know, at the bigger events, they're just quite big, so you can't, like, talk to everyone the same way that you would talk to at Summit events, you know?
Everything is very Summit is a professional Smash Fest when you really think about it. Like, in a good way, like in the classic, like, grassroots way. You know, you like those, you remember those, your past and just getting together with a whole bunch of people, your homies, your Smashers. You just get together and do a Smash Fest. And that's kind of what Summit is, because the whole, how many days is it? 4 or 5 days?
4 or 5 days, yeah.
You're just playing with each other, just chilling with all the friends, and then, you know, the last few days is business, but it's very well done. It's an S. It's an S. Come on. Come on, who are we fooling?
Genesis.
I would also give Genesis an S.
Yeah, Genesis is also way up there.
Been to like 4 or 5 at this point, and they do a good job keeping it, like, you still feel like that sense of community. I feel that more in like Genesis than maybe some of the other bigger ones. Maybe it's just because it's one of the older series and one of the ones I've gone to the most, and like the most amount of homies end up going to Genesis. Even like some of the players that don't play as much, they'll still come out to Genesis, right? So I'll
like
always get to see all
and
the
all
old
that,
school
right?
people.
Yeah.
Genesis is definitely like an outlier in terms of feeling that sense of community in a big tournament.
Same here. I do a lot of content at Genesis somehow. It's fun, you know, it's a good time.
Genesis is great. The crowd is so good. I feel like the Genesis crowd at that top 8 venue, or even just during like top 64 and whatnot, is just some of the best crowds in Melee. Just super hype. Everyone's like having a good time. You still kind of get like the old school feel of people like yelling dumb shit in the crowd, you know? Like you see that a little bit more. You see the passion. Yeah, exactly. So I like that.
Last one is Apex.
Apex, I mean, granted, Apex 2015 almost didn't happen because they literally didn't. The Blizzard like caved in the roof, and then they had to find a new venue, and then the tournament started on Saturday instead of Friday. Granted, Apex had some cool things about it, like it had the Salty Suite, which was dope. They had the 24-hour friendlies room. That was like one of the first tournaments I went to that did a 24-hour friendlies room. So that was pretty cool because I definitely remember I played some random money matches like 3 in the morning, and that was pretty fun. So I can't call it like it's not like a pure blow up, but Apex definitely also had some problems, right? Like the fact that it almost didn't happen because they got the wrong. I don't know how much of that was the hotel's fault versus the tournament itself. So I don't really know what to call Apex.
It's strange. I think that one, because there were a few Apexes, right?
There were a few, yeah.
That Apex in particular was such a just important tournament in terms of like all the stuff you just talked about that I don't even really remember the other Apexes as well, you know? How much of my value in it is from that one? I mean, it was a good tournament, but it was chaotic. It was like a chaotic tournament.
Yeah. It was definitely a chaotic tournament.
Just like a lot of stuff was going on. Like we had to like evacuate the hotel because of potentially like the roof collapsing or something like that.
I don't know what to give it. I could see like as low as C or D, and I could see as high as A.
I would say B for me. I would put it at a solid B.
B feels like a good place to round it to be honest with you. And the reason I say that is I think it did more good than harm. But if Apex, there was a very real world where Apex 2015 literally got canceled, then we'd have to put it in an F. But
well, it just doesn't happen.
If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But I think it earned a B.
Yeah. It was cool, like, seeing all the TOs and just, like, the staff having to basically, like, redo an entire tournament at, like, a new venue. So it was, like, one of those, I feel really nice about the community being able to, like, come together and make something crazy like that happen through an unfortunate circumstance. So that part of it was, like, kind of magical to see, you know? I didn't do anything, so I just watched it, and I was like, oh, shit. I don't know how you guys are pulling this off. Yeah. I think B is solid.
So we got to put one in the Pantheon, right?
Yep.
One of the S's.
Yep. So you got Gomel, Evo, Summit, and Genesis.
Oh, dude, that's hard. For me, I think it's between Summit or Genesis.
Yeah, me too. And I almost want to give it, I would say Summit for myself, but the thing is, that's for me. And I think for the average person, because the thing you got to realize about Summit, okay, actually, what I was going to say doesn't even apply. I was going to say the thing about Summit is you don't actually get to play in the bracket. because there's 16 people. That being said,
That's
they
true.
do have a VIP bracket, but okay, that's a huge barrier to entry for a lot of people. You just have to, it's just very expensive. So I almost feel like, especially if I'm recommending this to other people, I would say Genesis. Like, I would say Genesis is the best tournament that you can feasibly get to without spending a ton of money, obviously, because the Summit VIP passes are very expensive. And it's a little bit different, right? Summit almost feels like, it's like, if we're making a tier list from like bottom to top, I feel like Summit's like, it's like a little bit to the side. Like, it's like different, right? It's like a special kind of event. It's not like a real major in the way that people think of a Smash major. It's just too different. So, because it's an invitational. So for me, it's like, I don't want to put Summit as the number one because it's like, it's too different for the average attendee.
You just
They're
can't
not
go.
playing
You
in the main
just actually
bracket.
just can't
Usually
go.
you just can't go. Right.
It's just a
So-
unique kind of event. Well, if I had to compare all four, the reason for me that it can't be somewhat similar to you, but my reason specifically is there's just no crowd. There's
no
no
crowd.
crowd, so it doesn't feel it. I love Summit, it's great, but there's no crowd. There's one thing missing is the crowd. But that's the trade-off of it being an invitational, right? Evo is great, but it's mostly just Vegas.
It's mostly just Vegas. Yeah.
The event itself is just everything's happening everywhere, and it's hard to like keep track of stuff. For me, it's Gomel and Genesis. I have to do Gomel because Canada, you know, I have to do my part here. Gomel is really good too, by the way. Like, if anyone that's gone, you know, like, you get treated well, you know, like, we treat
Agreed.
foreigners well. And Genesis, it's like those are the two. And if you guys already have Genesis,
I'm down for Genesis. I'm down to. Put
I need another
Genesis.
Canadian in this call so they can put Gomel and we can do like a
Gomel's
2v2
great.
te-
I mean, we
teams
all
match.
rated Gomel really, really highly. It's just that Genesis has probably more history to me, and the top 8 venue is like a crazy experience.
Tell you what, Gomel will be the next Genesis. You okay with that?
Yeah, I'm down with that.
All right,
I mean,
all right, there we go.
Yeah.
It is
down.
decided.
What you munching on, dog?
Quinoa.
Quinoa.
Yeah.
Plain quinoa.
No. There's some parsley. There's some feta. There's some chickpeas.
I don't know what quinoa is, but it sounds peaceful.
Yeah, it's a peaceful. It's exactly
Like-
how I would
Like
describe
healthy,
it.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely peaceful. It
Very
caught me off
peaceful.
guard. It's really peaceful. Quinoa is so peaceful.
True.
That's the number one adjective I use to associate with it.
Mhm.